Let's call her Francisca. And her quest to get employment got her a job at a financial institution in 2016 and was paid about 200 Ghana cedis for her 6 months probation period. But things didn't go as planned.
After the 6 months, I was working with them. Work was going on well. Thinking after the 6 months, they'll increase salary or they'll even give me some appointment letter that will show that I'll fully be employed. But nothing like that was given. So I continued to work for 1.5 years. When I requested for the appointment letter, they told me I'm not yet qualified to be given an appointment letter. So I should continue working. I worked for 2 years, still no appointment letter nor salary increment. And the third year, the fourth year,
It didn't end there. Years later, despite all these anomalies, the company wanted to transfer her to another town without any provision for accommodation and still on the same meager salary.
so on the 1st of June 2020 was the day I supposed to report at my new station. So on that 1st June, I reported and then I consulted the managers. I told them by then I was 3 months pregnant, so I can't work as a mobile banker. She said I should get a bicycle and then rent a room. I told by then I was not also having any money, so I told her I don't have money to buy a bicycle nor to rent a room. She walked over me that I should go.
Francisca's story might be very concerning, but there are worse experiences. A study conducted by the Ghana Statistical Service revealed about 1.7 million of the total working population out of the 13 million workforce in the age bracket of 15 years and above in the first quarter of the year were unemployed. It was later revealed that the number rose to 1.8 million people in the second quarter of the year. But the situation is even more grim with the announcement of a freeze in public sector employment for 2023 as part of government's austerity measure to secure an IMF deal. What do industry players make of this, and what measures are they also putting in place to ensure employees are not exploited? The Association of Ghana Industries, AGI, is a major employer in the country.
Employee-employer relations can be quite sensitive sometimes. You realize that because of the demand for labor and supply of labor, the supply is always more than the demand. What it means is that every year, several young graduates are finishing universities and are seeking to be able to enter the job market. So, and the job opportunities are few compared to the supply of labor. What it means is that it appears that most employers do take advantage of the situation and do not give the best of conditions to these new employees. So what we've done over time is to insist that most of our employers, most of our members strictly adhere to some of the best practices that are known. For example, the UN Global Compact principles that ensures that workers are treated fairly.
As the authoritative global framework for preventing and addressing business-related human rights impacts, the United Nations Guiding Principles on Business and Human Rights are a fundamental tool for addressing these major collective challenges. How is Ghana faring based on this roadmap?
Unfortunately, within the African continent, only 2 countries so far have developed what we call the National Action Plans, that is the NAP, for businesses and human rights, and these are Kenya and Uganda. But the good thing is that our country, Ghana, is making progress under the leadership of Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, Siraj, to develop a national action plan for business and human rights. And this framework is expected to govern the operations of businesses, govern the operations of their compliance to human rights, and then also human rights due diligence processes. And quite recently, the government had what we call the consultative processes, and civil society organizations were invited to make inputs and feedback into the National Action Plan. So I think all in all, it is a right step to addressing issues of corporate capture, corporate right violations within Ghana.
Civil society organization ActionAid has expectations of countries on the continent and expects them to do all they can to protect the citizenry.
Corporations are probably more concerned about what this means for stakeholders than what it means for communities and their rights. And I think that this also makes it difficult for governments to make for states to make certain commitments or to take us further in the process because of the kind of pressure and power that may emanate from the corporate sector. It's time for us to overhaul how we are approaching our economy, how we're approaching politics, and to say that we need to quickly and very urgently move to putting care of people and care of the planet at the center of how we organize ourselves, including our economy, and also towards measuring how successful an economy is, not by growth or limitless growth, but by the well-being of the humans in the economy and indeed of the ecology.
Government seems quite concerned with all of these developments and is making some efforts at remedying.
First of all, some of these abuses, as you start with a report or a complaint by the individual. And that is why there's the need to sensitize the public. There is no way, I dare say, that the government, as we've seen from all the prosecutions and even litigations, civil litigations presently in court, that there will be a complaint and nothing will be done about it. But some people are not even aware of these rights that they hold. And so for us as the Office of the Attorney General, it is our pursuit in the course of our work that we uphold. And that's why we are chairing and have led these national action plans. We are chairing and help to launch this national baseline assessment. And then from then, where there is that education and sensitization, there is no excuse whatsoever for businesses to feign ignorance. And so from there, it is not business as usual. The whip must be cracked and cracked accordingly.